Will I ever remove this treadmill from my background? Probably not. It has become a very important piece of my whole studio. Hello human being, and welcome to another video. So today is going to be different from my normal studio vlogs. I just felt like trying something different because this was really the first month that I have given myself in the last year or so to finally re-dive into a creative practice for myself where I make what I want to make. And I feel like the most important piece is being able to create without expectations and without an agenda. And that is truly something that I have had to learn to embrace. And I think it's really, really important to talk about. I wish more people would talk about this because we kind of live in a world where we're told that, your hobby can't just be a hobby anymore. Your hobby has to make you more productive. It has to up-level you. It has to help you grow. It has to change your life. It has to bring in a side income for yourself. And it just can't. If it doesn't do any of those things, then, what's the point in having a hobby? What's the point in having a creative practice? So this is something that I am truly passionate about, especially because I have seen such a change in my own life just from giving myself this month to truly do this for myself. And I'm just seeing that the more I integrate my creative practice back into my own life, how much more energized I feel, how much more whole I feel, how much more me I feel. I am truly finally sharing after so many years, the fullest expression of me. I don't feel like I have ever been this expressed before. And I think a lot of inner work when it comes to things like this is being able to integrate all those different aspects of ourselves, and not limiting ourselves to one label. Your job title does not have to be the only way you label yourself or the way you have to label yourself at all. And we all carry so many different identities. So for me, reintegrating my creative practice, reintegrating my creativity, and allowing myself to make without expectation is a way that has helped me feel more whole. It is a way that has helped me fully step into my expression of myself. And it's also very, very possible that if you are here watching this video, that your creative practice might be the missing piece into helping you feel a lot more energized, a lot more fulfilled, a lot more whole in your life. What I am hoping to do today is just kind of give you that permission slip to be able to create for yourself again, to let go of any expectations that whatever you make, whatever you do has to be forever, that whatever you choose to make, you have to bring in a side income with it, that you have to share it, that you have to monetize it. You definitely don't have to do that. You are allowed to just keep things for yourself and make because you want to. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever the way you want to express yourself, it does not have to just be art or crocheting or drawing. Some people like to express themselves through video, through talking, through podcasting, through running. As miserable as that sounds, everybody's expression comes out differently. I just want to give some general tips or general advice or just things that I have learned that have really helped me release those expectations. So my first tip when it comes to kind of letting go of that expectation is to really just redefine what art looks like and feels like and is to you. So if you've noticed, I don't really call what I do art most of the time. I just call it my creative practice. And for me, that takes off so much expectation for me to have to make art look a certain way. Because for me, I've carried this picture of what art looks like, what it is and what it isn't. And I feel like many of us have this idea that art is only drawing, art is only painting, art is only when you're sculpting, and anything else, it's that's not art. So, just redefine what art means to you. Art comes in so many different forms. There are crochet artists, there are jewelry artists, there are gardening artists, hairdressers. I call them artists too. Art comes in so many different forms, and it would be so limiting and so not in the spirit of art to limit yourself or label yourself as one thing. So redefine what it looks like, what it feels like, what it is to you, and release that expectation that what you do, if you're like me and you make jewelry, that's not considered art because it's not a painting or drawing, right? My next tip is to just experiment. do not feel like you have to commit to creating art in like one type of way for the rest of your life. Like, this is something that I have had to also learn very much the hard way, where I would try something and I felt like I was gonna be so good at it. It was going to be my thing forever. And I've tried so many different things and I always thought that there was a problem with me because I couldn't just stick to it. But what I am noticing and now realizing is that I truly feel that experimenting and, you know, playing around with different mediums, different materials is what it truly means to just be an artist. Take the materials, you find the things that really resonate with you, and you create a really unique piece that feels good to you, that feels whole to you, that is just the fullest expression of yourself. So it's okay if the first thing you start with is not the thing you commit to creating or doing forever. I think it's more of the act of actually allowing yourself to do it that is the most important part. And that kind of leads me into my next tip. My next tip is to make it less about creating a perfect piece of art and instead make it an opportunity to shed a layer of perfectionism. Make your creative practice an act of showing up for yourself, an act of healing, an act of releasing any of those expectations that society or others have placed on you. Because when we can release the expectation of making things perfect, showing up in a way that pleases other people, what we really end up doing is facilitating our own healing, taking back our own power, and now saying that it's okay that this thing isn't perfect because I made it. I am good enough the way that I am now. Really, your art can facilitate your healing if you want it to. And I think this is really the thing that has helped me the most, is now knowing that it is no longer about creating something perfect. It is no longer about pleasing somebody else with my art. It is really just a way for me to connect to myself, connect to my body, connect to my soul, a way to help myself heal. My next tip is to create for yourself, but share from a place of passion. And this really applies to you if you are really desiring to share your art with others at all, online, offline, wherever it is. And I want to make it really, really clear that you do not have to share your art at all if you do not want to. It can be something that is totally for yourself. Nobody has to know about it. It can be really, really private. It can just be your creative practice, your healing practice, the way you connect with yourself. It does not have to be shared. But if you have the desire to, I think it's really, really important to put the expectations and any agendas to the side, especially at the beginning, because you're going to find yourself really disappointed and probably not making the stuff you really want to be making if you always have that in the background. This is really the difference between creating from an abundant place where you're creating your stuff because you feel inspired and you feel really, really good and whole and energetic and you're excited, versus a place of, you know, lack where you're kind of feeling like, I have to make this. If I don't do this, it's linked up to my survival. I'm not going to survive. When we can let go of those expectations and any agendas, our fullest self is so much more easily able to come through, and other people can feel that, and other people can connect to that so much more than when you are trying to force something in somebody's face. Everybody has an experience with that, where we can feel where we're being really sold to, where things feel really salesy, where it feels like things are being really forced in our face, versus somebody just sharing something because they want to and they're excited about it. And you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with selling your art, wanting to make a living off of what it is that you make, monetizing it. Like, I would love to do that for myself one day. Totally nothing wrong with it. But I think it really comes back to having to release expectations in order to create work and art that feels really good and whole and fulfilling, and just something you actually want to put out in the world. Something that feels good to you. So this really is just the lighthouse effect, where we shine our light, where we create and share what we want, and other people are naturally drawn to it. Others naturally want to connect with you because you are sharing your light. Like, have you ever met somebody that was just honest about who they were? They were just themselves, and because they were just who they were, you connected so much more to them than somebody who was pretending to be perfect. So I hope this video was helpful and that you got something out of it. Hopefully you feel a bit of release, that it is okay to make whatever you want without expectations, without it being perfect, without it having to make you any kind of income, and instead doing it for yourself, for your healing, as a practice to connect to your body again, as a way to connect to your authentic self again, and a way to reintegrate missing parts. Let's see what this journey brings both of us, to be honest. I don't know where it's going.